Hey y'all, would you like to solve a 10 by 10? Because I know I want to. Sorry, excuse my non-cuber Timmy. Not mine, but just non-cuber Timmy. He just likes to say 10 by 10 at any cube. So actually, would you want to learn how to solve a 4 by 4? Well, watch this video to find out how to solve it. So, a 4 by 4 is kind of harder than a 3 by 3, but it has some steps of a 3 by 3. So right now I'll just be scrambling it just to show you what to do in the very first steps. Alright, so when it's scrambled, these there's no centers here. It looks like a 2 by 2 center, and the edges are not made, and like their corners are correct because corners don't change, but the edges are not correct. The centers are not correct. So right now I'll be teaching you how to solve a center. So when you're solving a center, what you're basically doing is you're pairing up these two, so they're matching. So white, that's pretty good. And then you find another piece and you bring it up to this piece and then solve your center. Well, that was pretty quick. Let me scramble it up a bit so I can teach you how to do it. So first, look around your cube, and we're starting with white because that's the easiest one to do. So first, find one white corner center piece, and try to like move it up to another one. So you find this one and this one. Let's say this one, right? So you want to bring it up to this one. So if you do RW2, there's also other move notations for 4x4 because it has more layers. So this is RW, this is RW prime, this is LW, this is LW prime. So you get the idea. It's just you add a W. If you add a W to like U, that means you're doing this, like the 2 layers. So you found this one, right? So you want to bring it up to here. So if you do the RW2, it will not come up because you're always just going to keep on doing this, and it's never going to pair up. So what you can do here is you can do a U prime and then do an RW2 to pair these up. There you have one of these. Now you have to do the same thing here. So this one's here, and let's say, where's this one? It's here. So now, instead of putting it like this, which will break up the bar, you're putting it like this. So do the same thing here. If this one's here, it will not pair up because it will always keep on going in a circle. So what you do here is you do a U prime, an LW prime, a U, and then an LW prime, which makes the first center. Now when you're making the second center, it's a little bit different because the first center is already made, so it cannot be destroyed. So let's say this one's here and this one's here. Also, you have to solve the color scheme correctly. So white is here, that means yellow's here, on the top, opposite of white. It cannot be over here because if it's here, if your yellow center is here, that means the color scheme isn't correct. So you always have to keep the color scheme correct. So how you make this bar, you can do this because if you don't do that, that will break up the bar. So if you do that, do an F prime and then do that, that will still keep your white center. Then you bring it up here, a U2, and then bring it down. So now this white center is solved, and now you have one bar here. So now you look around, and maybe this is a really yucky case. It's not really good. But what you can do is pull this one away on the side here, so we'll always stay here, and then do this, so it's not here. So then you pair it up, and you cannot enter it normally, because if you do, then this white center will not be made. So what you do here is you put yellow under yellow, then you do LW prime, or you can do RW prime, you can do RW, U2, RW prime, which makes these 2 centers. And now we are going to be making the orange center. So if you don't know the color scheme, just get your 3x3 if you have one, because you need to know how to solve a 3x3 if you want to learn how to solve a 4x4, because there's going to be a 3x3 stage later on. So this is a lucky case where you already have a bar, but now you're in the middle layer. So it doesn't, so that means you can do these moves and will not disrupt. But if you do these moves, it will disrupt these two centers. So here's one here, and here's this one. So what you do here is you do a U, an RW prime, F prime, and then an RW. There, now you just put it in, and now you have your center done. Yeah, and now you solve these two. So this should be blue, and this should be green. This should be red, because orange is opposite of red. So this is a really lucky case, and if you don't understand how to do it by now, I'll first do the yellow, not the yellow, the blue center. So if you have this here, and you have this one here, you can do an F, yeah, that's F, and then you can do an RW prime, and then do an F prime, and then do an RW, which makes these two. Now, this is the blue spot, so the blue center is supposed to be here. And now you have this other one. Then you just do a U2, and you cannot do the same thing because it will disrupt this orange center. So what you do, you do the same thing. So now blue is under blue. You do the L or the R. You can do the R version. The R version is more convenient. So you can do RW2, U2, RW2. There, that makes these two centers. Now you have the last two to go, and then you'll solve all the centers. So now you have these two. So this red has to go with this red. So how you want to make it is, we've already done that a bunch of times, but if you don't know how to do it, is you bring this red here, like that. So now when you do your LW prime, it will make it. So now you do a U prime, and then you do a LW. Now you have to do the same thing here. So red is supposed to go in this spot, and green is supposed to go in here. So what you do is you do an RW, U2, RW prime. So see, now you solved your centers, and now let's go on to pairing up the edges. So when you're done with your centers, you're gonna have all of these edges around the cube, and what you want to do is you find two of the same ones. So this is the blue-white, this is the blue-white. Now put this blue-white anywhere, like on the right or the left. I'm gonna do on the right because it's more convenient. Now you have to put another blue-white over here. So it's down here, right? So instead of doing this, you can do this. There. And now when you do a UW prime, it pairs these up. And now what you do here is you do an R, a U prime, replace it with the, okay. So in the beginning, you may have no edges solved, and you have all these not solved. So you put a solved edge into an unsolved edge. So it's R, U prime, R prime, and then return all the centers. There. Now you have an edge pair. Now you find that you do the same thing. So let's say this one's red and white, and then now you find this other one, which is down here. So you bring that thing up, or you bring it up again, and then here's an example. This is what some people do. See, that disrupts the edge. So when you slice back, it will disrupt the edge. So you cannot do that. So just remember, take an unsolved edge and put the solved edge into the unsolved edge, and I'll slice back. I say slice because it's more convenient, because I do a lot of square one. So now do the same thing for these other ones. So let's find this one here, and then this one here. Bang, that's another edge. Then you do the same thing. So this one is this, so it's here, and then let's try to find his other edge. There you go. There. Now you made 4 edges, and it's getting a little bit complicated because some edges may be in the spot where you want to pair up other edges, and if they are, just put them in the top. There. Now you have some edges left to go. So now just do the same thing. So this one is the yellow-red. Where's this? Where is it? It's weird pause. Gosh, I'm colorblind. All right, there it is. There's this one. So, and people, I forgot to tell you this. If you put them on the same line, so this one's red, they will never be an edge pair. If this one is on the top, that means this one is on the bottom. So yeah, now you've paired them up, you pair them up, R, U prime, R prime, and then slice back. There you go. Now do the same thing here. So if this is overfilled with other edges, you can put an unsolved edge that you're not going to pair up right now with this one. But don't worry if you're thinking, oh, but if I do this, then it will not, and then it will break it up. It will be fine. It will be fixed after you slice back. So do the same thing that you've done before. So if this one's on the bottom, you can do a DW, and then find an unsolved edge here. You put that in, slice back, and see the edge is still made, the one that we took out. So now we have less edges left. So do the same thing here. Also, this is beginner's method, if any of you are wondering why it's so slow. There. Now you have your last 3 edges. Sorry, last 4 edges. Last 4 unsolved. So now maybe a little bit crowded with the solved edges. Just know if you take, let's say, if you take this one in and where's this one? There it is. And then if you try to pair these up and you put it, and then this one gets unsolved. So remember, this one is the yellow red one. So if you do that, that will break it up. But if you put this one in and then you slice back, it will make the edge back. And now you may have all the edges solved, or and you can go into the 3x3 stage, or you may have this annoying case. So you have these 2 and everything else is filled. So what you can do here is you put it like this on the same level, but if they're not on the same level, you can do R, U, R prime, U prime. You rotate your cube to the right, L prime, U, L. There, now they're on the same level. Now I can do that same algorithm, but you do a UW prime, RU, R prime, U prime. Rotate your cube to the right, L prime, U, L. Now turn your cube to the left, slice back. Now you have all your edges solved. Yay. And now we can go into the 3x3 stage. So on the 3x3 stage, you just solve like a normal 3x3. So just do everything while you're solving it. So maybe you're a beginner's method person, where you're solving it using beginner's method. And if you're CFOP, aka cross F2L OLL PLL person, then you may have it easier while you're solving, because while you're solving, it's much easier doing CFOP during 4x4. So just solve it. And then here's the most annoying thing. When you get to your F2L done, you may have this thing. So this is called parity. So parity is when it's a situation on the cube that is not possible on a 3x3. It is possible on a 4x4 because there's 2 edges. So if this happens to you, here's the algorithm. RW, U2, and then X, which is turning it to the bottom. RW, U2, RW, U2, RW prime, U2, LW, U2, RW prime, U2, RW, U2, RW prime, U2, and then RW prime. There. Now you have the parity done, and now you can just do your 3x3 again. I'm gonna do CFOP, and then I'm gonna show you what beginner's method will look like. So if you do the thing where you're solving it, so you're flipping the corners to get to your yellow layer, there are some things called parity number 2, which is PLL parity while you're solving your PLL. So let's say you don't have any parity on the PLL, but this may happen. So let's say you're doing a z-perm. A z-perm is when you're permuting these two. You may have this annoying parity when it's not possible. So it says zh-perm. So if you want to get rid of this, you do, so also the middle layer is the small r, and this is the small l, but I'll just be doing this version. So it's small r, u2, small r, uw2, small r2, and then a u2, and then a u. So it's a u2 and then a uw u2. Sorry, it's a uw2 and then a u2. There. Now just do your final algorithm, and then that is that's literally the cube. That's everything. So if you like the video, you can support it by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, and leaving random questions in the comments that you want to ask me. I will answer them. Cube Big Nerd, out.